Everyone wants more money. But deep down, almost everyone is afraid of losing it. That fear whispers in your ear when you think about investing. It stops you from starting a business. It keeps you from taking opportunities. And in the end, it locks you in the same place you've always been. Here's the paradox. The fear of losing money is the very reason most people never build wealth. They cling to safety, hoard cash under mattresses, keep everything in a savings account that barely beats inflation. They tell themselves they're being responsible. But the harsh truth is this: avoiding risk is the biggest risk of all. Because while fear keeps you still, time keeps moving. Inflation eats your savings. Opportunities pass you by. And years later, you look back and realize your fear cost you more than any failed investment ever could. The secret to wealth isn't never losing money. It's learning how to face the fear, manage the risk, and keep moving forward anyway. This is the secret to overcoming the fear of losing money. Picture this. John has been thinking about investing for years. Every time he sees the market rise, he feels the itch. Maybe I should start. But then doubt creeps in. What if I lose it all? What if the market crashes right after I buy? So he waits. Years pass. The market doubles. His friends who invested have growing portfolios. John still has his money sitting safely in the bank, earning almost nothing. Inflation quietly eats away at its value. The purchasing power shrinks every year. Finally, he decides to jump in. But now prices feel too high. Again, fear whispers. What if I'm buying at the top? So he waits some more. By the time John finally invests, he has lost not just money, but time, the one resource he can never get back. This is the hidden cost of fear. It convinces you that standing still is safe, when in reality, it's the most dangerous choice of all. Wealth isn't built by waiting for the perfect moment. It's built by consistency, by showing up, by letting time and compounding do the heavy lifting. And the cruel truth? The fear of losing money often makes you lose the most valuable thing of all, the years when your money could have been growing. Two friends. Same job. Same salary. Same starting point. The first, Lisa, decides to start investing early. She isn't fearless. She's nervous every time she moves money into her account. But she does it anyway. Month after month, she contributes small amounts. She doesn't always buy at the perfect time, but she buys consistently. The second, Mark, waits. He tells himself, I'll start once I have more saved up. I'll start once the market cools down. I'll start when I feel ready. But ready never comes. Every rise feels too late. Every dip feels too risky. So he keeps his money in cash, safe but stagnant. 10 years later, Lisa's portfolio has grown significantly. The ups and downs scared her at times, but she stayed in the game. Compounding did its quiet work. She now has a foundation that grows stronger every year. Mark. He still has the same amount sitting in the bank, but inflation has eaten away at its value. What once felt safe now feels like loss. And worse, he lost a decade of time that he can never recover. The difference between them wasn't income. It wasn't luck. It was fear. One acted despite it. The other let it paralyze him. This is the brutal truth. The fear of losing money costs more than losing money itself. Fear of losing money is like a shadow. It follows you everywhere, when you think about starting a business, when you consider investing, even when you save. The shadow whispers, what if you fail? What if you lose it all? What if this ruins you? But here's the thing about shadows. They look bigger than they are. The fear of losing $1,000 feels enormous. But the real risk isn't losing the money. It's losing the opportunity to make 10,000 or even 100,000 because fear kept you frozen. Every investor, every entrepreneur, every wealthy person carries this shadow. The difference is that they don't let it lead. They see the fear, acknowledge it, but keep moving forward. Think of it like crossing a bridge at night. The shadow makes the bridge look shaky, dangerous. But once you step on it, you realize it holds firm. And when you reach the other side, you wonder why you waited so long. Fear will always be there. The secret isn't to eliminate it. The secret is to walk anyway. Because while fear whispers about what you might lose, action shows you what you can gain. And in money, as in life, the gains almost always outweigh the fear. Then comes the storm. The economy dips. Prices rise. Inflation eats away at savings like acid on metal. Paul, who always feared losing money, kept everything in cash. He felt safe. But when groceries double and rent climbs higher, his savings shrink in real value. What once felt like security now feels like sand slipping through his fingers. Next to him, Emma took a different path. She faced the same fear, but she invested steadily over the years. When the market dropped, her portfolio lost value, on paper. But she stayed calm, knowing downturns are temporary. And when the recovery came, her money bounced back stronger than ever. Paul let fear guide him. Emma let discipline guide her. The result? Paul lost quietly, eaten alive by inflation he never saw coming. Emma grew wealth, even through chaos, because she understood the game. The irony is brutal. The safe path wasn't safe at all. Fear made Paul believe he was protecting himself. In reality, he guaranteed loss. This is the trap fear sets. It convinces you that doing nothing is protection, when in truth, doing nothing is surrender. The secret is not avoiding storms, but preparing to endure them. And that starts with overcoming fear. Here's the truth. Our brains are wired against wealth. Psychologists call it loss aversion. The idea that losing $100 hurts far more than gaining $100 feels good. In fact, studies show that losses sting about twice as much as wins excite us. This wiring made sense for survival. Thousands of years ago, losing food or shelter could mean death. The instinct to avoid loss kept our ancestors alive. But in today's financial world, that instinct works against us. It makes us panic when investments dip, even though dips are normal. It makes us cling to cash that loses value instead of putting it to work. It convinces us to avoid opportunities that could change our lives, just to avoid the sting of temporary pain. The wealthy feel fear too. They just understand it. They know fear is part of the game. They plan for losses, accept them, and keep going. That's why they win over the long run. The poor, on the other hand, let fear control them. They avoid risk altogether, guaranteeing they stay stuck. The harsh truth: fear of loss is natural, but letting it dictate your choices is optional. And if you don't master it, it will quietly rob you of every chance at freedom. The secret isn't to silence fear. The secret is to see it for what it is, an illusion that looks bigger than the truth. Imagine two paths. On the first walks Daniel. He fears losing money so deeply that he avoids every risk. He never invests, never starts a business, never takes a chance. Decades pass. He works hard, saves a little, but inflation erodes his nest egg. When retirement comes, he has no freedom, only survival. On the second path walks Maria. She feels the same fear, but she doesn't let it freeze her. She invests small amounts, knowing markets rise and fall. She starts a side business, understanding failure is possible, but growth is too. She makes mistakes, loses money at times, but learns and adapts. Years later, Daniel is still chained to his job. Maria is free. Her investments pay dividends. Her business runs without her. She isn't fearless. She simply refused to let fear decide her life. The lesson: safety isn't in avoiding loss. Safety is in building resilience. Those who avoid all risk guarantee stagnation. Those who embrace managed risk create opportunity. Fear tells you that losing money is the end. In reality, refusing to risk is the real ending, the quiet death of every dream you never chased. The secret is clear. The future belongs to those who act despite fear, not those who hide behind it. Here's the heart of it. The fear of losing money is a prison. It doesn't look like bars, but it keeps you trapped all the same. It tells you to stay in the safe job, even if it drains your soul. It tells you to keep savings in a low-interest account, even as inflation robs you blind. It tells you to avoid investing, avoid building, avoid trying, all in the name of protection. But protection isn't freedom. Protection without growth is just stagnation. Wealthy people don't escape fear. They escape the prison. They know losses will come, just as wins will. They manage risk, diversify, and accept short-term pain for long-term freedom. They step outside the bars while everyone else stays locked inside. The irony? The ones who fear loss the most often lose the most, not through investments, but through decades of missed opportunity. Their prison keeps them safe from failure, but also safe from success. The secret isn't in being fearless. It's in being free, free to act, free to learn, free to grow. Because once you see fear for what it is, you realize something powerful. The only thing scarier than losing money is never trying to make it grow. So here it is, the secret to overcoming the fear of losing money. You don't conquer fear by waiting for it to disappear. You conquer it by acting in spite of it, by taking small, calculated risks, by learning that loss is not the end, but the price of progress. The truth is simple. The people who build wealth are not the fearless, they are the disciplined. They set rules. They manage risk. They keep moving forward, even when their stomach twists with doubt. You can live your entire life letting fear make your choices. You can stay safe, keep your money locked away, and watch time quietly rob you of the future you dreamed of. Or you can step forward, take control, and let your money work for you. Because wealth doesn't belong to the ones who hide. It belongs to the ones who try, fail, learn, and keep going. The real risk isn't losing money. The real risk is losing your chance at freedom. So the next time fear whispers in your ear, ask yourself, what will cost me more, the money I might lose, or the life I might never live? The answer to that question will define your future.